Have any of you ever taken the Strengths Finder assessment? It's a very well-researched leadership assessment that anyone can pay to take, and there's a book that goes along with it. And I know for me, it really helped me understand how I interact with the people around me. It gave me a new lens for my leadership, but also for my interpersonal relationships. And still now, even the years after I took it, it helps me look differently at all the hats that I wear as a worker, as a spouse, and as a parent. And of the 34 options that the Gallup organization has come up with for this assessment, for me, my number one strength is harmony. The Clifton Strength rubric, it defines that particular strength in this way. People exceptionally talented in the harmony theme look for consensus. They don't enjoy conflict, rather they seek areas of agreement. Where are all my harmony seekers out there? Well, if you are at all like me, when there is conflict that comes up in your parenting journey, because come on, it's inevitable, and you're the one who prefers when things are instantaneously harmonious, sometimes it's hard to know where to start. We, in our family, had a recent parenting moment, we'll say, where my husband was out of town, but there was a school issue that I had to address with one of our kids. Now, it's not that my husband Hans dislikes harmony, but the goal of harmony, it doesn't drive him in the same way that it drives me. So I'll be honest, in those types of situations, he is often the one who takes the first step in discipline. He doesn't seek out conflict, but he doesn't shy away from it like I sometimes do. He realizes that consensus is not easy and sometimes is not possible. So when there was a school issue that needed to be addressed that particular night, I had to muster up some courage and figure out how to handle it. And one thing that was helpful to me was to sit down with my son and say this: "Hey buddy, a heads up. We have to have a hard conversation." Me saying this simple thing allowed us to pause. Rather than to dive right in or to raise my voice and demand an explanation, it gave him time to prepare. It helped him to know that I didn't want a platform to be a parent. I wanted a conversation. It was two-way, and it was probably going to be hard, not just for him, but for me too. And of course, in this example, he knew that that conversation was inevitable. He knew the teacher had reached out to me. He knew I wasn't going to somehow ignore it and hope that it went away just because Hans wasn't home. This idea of simply giving a heads up to your teenager, I learned it from another parent, and I found it to be very helpful. It was a way to say to my kids, we're in this family together. Yes, we have different roles. I'm a parent and you are a child, but as a family, we work through the tough things together. And giving you a chance to prepare for it shows that I honor where you are at. And maybe on that particular day, if I had read his body language or his reaction, it might have shown me that he wasn't at a place to have that conversation at that moment. And I wonder if it would have been okay to just agree to wait. I maybe could have said to him, "I know you're expecting this, but I also respect you as a person. And if you need to wait 20 minutes or an hour before we talk, I'm willing to do that." We may not immediately have had our harmony, but that doesn't mean that taking time to work through things is in some way bad. In the Bible, Ecclesiastes 3 has these words for us: "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing." For my son and me, after we had this tough conversation, he needed some time because he had had some consequences. I actually tried to give him a hug and he wasn't ready for that. The next morning, he was in a different place though. We had worked through the season of refraining from embracing in a quite literal way, but it wasn't a forever season. So what season are you in with your parenting journey? Are you at a laughing and dancing season? Are you at a weeping and mourning season? Are you at a place where simply giving your child a heads up, "Hey, we need to have a hard conversation. Hey, some hard stuff is going to affect our family." As Jesus candidly reminds us in John 16, In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. So, what could this mean for you? Even if you love times of harmony, to embrace that some seasons are harder than others, but what doesn't change is that we can still show up for each other, just as Jesus continues showing up for each of us.